CTV News at 5 with Tony Ryma and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. So glad you are with us on this Friday. A pedestrian in North Bay was taken to hospital this afternoon after being struck by a city bus. Police say the collision took place around 1 p.m. in the Oak and Ferguson Streets area. Emergency crews were on scene to help the pedestrian and take them to hospital. No word on the condition of the person who was hit. Okay, let's talk weather and unsettled conditions, snowy conditions for some parts of the Northeast. For more details, let's bring in CTV's Rick Wyman. Rick.
It's busy. Highway 17 is closed between Batchewana Bay and Wawa in both directions due to the weather. All kinds of weather cropping in, as you can see, with the squalls and flurries, watches and warnings. And again, your first take on weather brought to you by CAA. Get your membership today at caa.ca. Some of the totals in the Sioux: 5 to 10 centimeters for this evening, 20 tomorrow. Parry Sound 5 to 10 tonight, 15 to 25 during the day tomorrow, and 5 to 10 more centimeters again by tomorrow evening. We'll take a look at some of the weather details. I know you're not too happy with the flurries and squalls, but we'll have more coming up. Tony, back to you.
Thanks so much for that, Rick. The official launch of Ontario's $500 million Critical Minerals Processing Fund today in Sudbury. It was first announced in this year's budget. Provincial ministers joined Sudbury's mayor to stress the importance of strengthening the province's critical minerals supply chain. CTV's Alan Everson reports.
Standing up for Canada and what it means to be Canadian, the most ethical supply chain on earth.
Minister of Energy and Mines, Stephen Lecce, talks about the role of Canada and Ontario in the critical mineral space.
We are finally ending the ripping and shipping of Canada's ethical resources. We're keeping them in this country to be processed so that we create value-added jobs. This is about repatriating investment away from the U.S., away from Europe, where so many of the value-added investments leave the country. They get processed abroad only for us to buy it back at a premium.
Now, we hear a lot from President Trump. I don't need anything from Canada. We don't want anything from Canada. We don't want...
Up at the podium, the Minister of Economic Development talked about the situation south of the border.
The fact that they need things like our nickel, our aluminum, our steel, our oil, our potash. They need all of those things. They have one nickel mine in the entire United States, and it's not going to last much longer. So there are things, especially things from Sudbury and Northern Ontario, that they need.
The mayor of Sudbury says this fund will make sure processing happens here at home.
We all want to see the added value here, right? We don't want to see our materials that we extract from the ground shipped elsewhere around the world. We want to see those jobs stay here, those minerals, those critical minerals stay here and be transformed here, and that's what this is about.
The official launch of the fund means that companies that accelerate critical mineral processing and strengthen domestic supply chains can now apply for funding through Invest Ontario. Alana Everson, CTV News, Sudbury.
Several long-term care facilities in Greater Sudbury are reporting active outbreaks of influenza and COVID-19, and that's prompting renewed calls for vigilance from health officials. More now from CTV's Amanda Hicks.
The holidays are just around the corner, but so is peak season for flu and respiratory illnesses. Public Health Sudbury and District says that means community virus levels are set to climb.
We are heading for probably the peak of our flu season to unfortunately be around the holiday time, which is unfortunately a time when lots of us are going to be gathering with each other, and there'll be lots of opportunity for that virus to spread.
Outbreaks have already been reported at several long-term care facilities across the city, including Extended Care Countryside Nursing Home and the Elizabeth Center.
We are seeing about 7 of our long-term care homes and retirement homes that are in respiratory viruses. Some are influenza, some are COVID-19. That is definitely higher than we would see, for example, sometime during the summer, and unfortunately, we probably will see that ramp up within the next few weeks.
Meanwhile, Health Sciences North says it is seeing a high number of influenza cases. This presents challenges for nurses and doctors in the emergency room who see upwards of 200 patients a day.
We operate at overcapacity on a regular basis. And which results in patients being boarded within the emergency department. So that means a patient who's been admitted to hospital, who should otherwise be getting care on an inpatient floor, ends up having to stay within the emergency department for their care upwards of 36 to 48 hours at times. which results in limited capacity for the emergency department to see their patients.
With the number of influenza cases going around, HSN is advising visitors to the hospital to expect extended wait times and to be patient with staff. Meanwhile, Hergy strongly recommends everyone gets caught up on their vaccines so that this holiday season can be an enjoyable one. Amanda Hicks, CTV News, Sudbury.
It's time for a quick break. Coming up on CTV News at 5, Rick has your full weather forecast. Plus, we'll have a story about a bear hit by a vehicle in Sudbury, but now is recovering down south.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Jersey Friday here at CTV Sudbury, and of course, what better jersey than this one to wear after a rookie posts a big win for the Habs last night over Pittsburgh. So, Jacob Fowler, love you. We'll see what happens. Carey Price did the same thing in his first game. Forecast radar, here we go. Some snow moving in. We'll talk about that momentarily. Flurries, squalls, and a lot of it, particularly in Sault Ste. Marie and Parry Sound. So let's get to those numbers without further ado. Sudbury Nickel Belt. We've got the chance of flurries for tomorrow after 5 centimeters of snow tonight, -8, -12 on Sunday. Sunshine Monday, chance of flurries. Tuesday, -5. Then it starts to warm up. 0 on Wednesday with the chance of either flurries or showers. So it'll get really warm by Thursday of next week. Let's take a look now at the conditions. Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, 10 centimeters of flurry activity for tomorrow. Again, it's all part of a package where the Sioux will get 5 to 10 tonight and upwards 10 to 20 for tomorrow, high of 9. -6 on Sunday, chance of flurries on Monday, -6. Warming up to -1 on Tuesday and -2 Wednesday, chance of flurries or showers. Meanwhile, let's have a peek at Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing. Some snow tomorrow, 2 to 4 centimeters, -11 your high, -10 on Sunday, -7 Monday as well, chance of flurries. So we go from Sunday to Monday, warming up. That trend continues Tuesday, chance of flurries. Even better Wednesday next week, chance of flurries with a high of -1. How about Temiskaming Shores, Kirkland Lake, flurries tomorrow, -6, -11 on Sunday, chance of flurries. More of the same on Monday, -9, warming up to -7 Tuesday with sunshine, and Wednesday, chance of flurries or showers with a high of -1. Meanwhile, in North Bay and West Nipissing, flurries for tomorrow, -5, -12 on Sunday, chance of flurries Monday, -4. Again, -4 Tuesday, sun and cloud, and chance of flurries or showers on Wednesday with a high of 0. Just a reminder once again, Highway 17 is closed between Batchewana Bay and Wawa in both directions because of the snow. And again, I want to remind you that Wawa is getting hit with all kinds of snow, 15 to 20 centimeters. Parry Sound, 5 to 10 centimeters for this evening, 15 to 25 tomorrow during the day, and 5 to 10 tomorrow evening. Going to be one of those days for those living in Parry Sound, Sault Ste. Marie, and Wawa. Tony, back to you.
Thanks so much for that, Rick. A story right now about a bear that was saved by a Sudbury man after it was hit by a vehicle. As CTV's Lindsay Alick tells us, this highlights the important work animal rehab facilities provide.
Almost 2 weeks ago, Peter Charbonneau was traveling to Falconbridge when he noticed a bear lying on the side of the road. Originally, he kept driving, but decided at the nickel rim turnoff to go back. He discovered the bear had been hit by a car.
I looked at him and he was still breathing. So then I didn't know what to do at first. So at that time, an elderly gentleman pulled up behind me. He says, "Go home and get your gun and shoot him." I thought, no.
He called 911, but knew it would be a while before someone could respond. That's when he decided to call Turtle Pond, a licensed wildlife rehab center in Valcarin.
We're what's considered a generalist, so we take in just about everything. But there are rehab centers out there that specialize, and Mike is one of them.
I drove the bear down to Caledon to a wonderful group of wildlife vets, the National Wildlife Center of Caledon. And the vet team sedated the bear, x-rayed him many times to make sure there's no broken bones, and there was no broken bones. Then they proceeded to clean the forearm and stitch him up.
The 2-year-old bear named Peter will continue to heal at Bear With Us until he is returned to the wild next summer. At that time, McIntosh will work with the MNR to find a release location. As for why this bear wasn't hibernating,
we quite often get bears in through the wintertime that are in need of care. More often than not, though, is orphan cubs. Cubs that are orphaned during the fall. And most often a bear hunt, which orphans kills the mothers, and those cubs come out of hibernation because they're starving and underweight and can't sleep. Sometimes they're injured. This example is one of them.
as for anyone who comes upon an injured animal, it's recommended to call a local rehab facility and figure out next steps. As they say, each case is unique. Lindsay Alick, CTV News, Sudbury.
A Timmins family is spreading some Christmas cheer with a gigantic inflatable Santa Claus. Two brothers have set him up in an ideal location where there are hundreds of eyes on him every single day. CTV's Lydia Chubak has that story.
There's a new face towering over Timmins' Power Avenue neighborhood, and he's impossible to miss. Standing 40 feet tall, this massive inflatable Santa in his classic red suit and toy-filled sack has become a local attraction.
I was just Googling stuff one day and I come across small Santas, so I Googled world's largest Santa and he came up.
And even if not the largest, he's certainly supersized. Letourneau bought the $2,500 inflatable online and decided something this impressive deserves to be seen. So he asked his brother Luke for help.
I live out in the country, so not as much people are going to experience the joy. So this year I said, well, Luke, you want to put it up at your house? He said, sure. So here we are.
The Letourneaus have a large family. 50 to 60 people gather during the holidays, and now this Santa is part of the celebration.
It's a little bit different fostering such a big animal, but it's okay. It turned out a little bit of work, but makes everybody happy. It gets a lot of attention, people stop, so it's fun.
This Santa stays safe in place with ropes and buckets of frozen water on Luke's front lawn.
12 ropes hanging onto this big sail, so it's got to be tied down because any little bit of wind, it's gone. I almost lost it the first year.
When weather is unfavorable, Santa gets a break.
Yeah, we turn it off at night and then fire back up in the morning if the weather permitting.
The location couldn't be better. This jolly elf is set up directly across from a school, serving as a daily reminder for kids to stay on the nice list. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, Timmins.
And he's a big addition. Coming up on CTV News at 5. This North Bay Battalion is the tallest player in the Canadian Hockey League.
Hockey This Week is brought to you by Rastall Nut and Bolt Company. Well, there's a buzz, to say the least, in North Bay these days after the hometown battalion recently acquired and signed defenseman Alexander Karmanov. What's so special about Karmanov, who hails from the Republic of Moldova in Eastern Europe? Well, he's 7 feet and weighs about 265 on a good day and is now the tallest player in the OHL and CHL. And he comes to the Gateway City from the Brantford Titans of the Greater Ontario Hockey League. Here's Battalion GM John Winstanley. So why the interest in Karmanov?
Well, I think for us, we ended up moving out one of our import players in Posey to Flint in a deal. And when that position became available, Alex was a player that we looked at last year during the import draft. We had a lot of discussions with his representation, and we definitely saw a foundation there that could be pretty intriguing. And we went in a different direction during the draft. And when he became available and we had the open import spot, it kind of seemed like a perfect situation for us and him. And we kind of expressed our plan to him and his representation. And it seemed to kind of fit with where their head was at. And here we are, 2 weeks into kind of developing him as a player and as a person and going down that journey together.
Okay, he played his first game with the team last week in league play. So what have you learned about his skill set? I mean, he's still a teenager. He's tall, he's heavy. What can he do? What can't he do? Or what does he have to develop?
I think that the biggest thing that intrigued us right off the hop was his desire and passion for the game. Anybody we spoke to who was close to him, including the guys with the Brantford Titans, just kept raving about that he just wanted to be on the ice all the time. He wanted to get better. He was a hockey player, and we saw that actually his first weekend with us where he didn't play. He kept asking, when can I go on the ice? When can I go on the ice? And our road trip didn't allow for any practices. We were heading out to Kingston, Ottawa, and Peterborough, but you could just see he wanted to get on the ice, and he was in the gym every morning with our strength coaches. And that passion and that desire is what's going to fuel him. And for us, when we watch him on the ice, obviously he's a big guy. There's no denying that. And the foundational skills, though, are there. And now it's our job as a group and as a team to, develop him and use that passion and try to make him into the player that he wants to be.
Okay, now he's also looking at joining Penn State's hockey program in 2 years' time. So I'm thinking 2027. Is that enough time for him to develop at the OHL level, which is crucial in order to be prepared for university college hockey?
Ultimately, we will put the tools in front of him. We will put the resources and all the time we can, but it's ultimately always up to the player. He's got to put the work in. He's got to put the time in. He's got to ask those questions. And when he's tired, he's got to keep going. So we will make sure as a group and as a team, we will do everything we can to make sure he's ready. And from what we've seen of him in our short time, he looks like he's hungry and up for the challenge. So that's his goal. That's our goal. So, I'm sure he has NHL aspirations as well if you're able to speak to him. So, we'll focus on every day with him and try to get 1% better. And if we do that, I think then some of these things will kind of take care of themselves.
John Winstanley is the general manager of the North Bay Battalion. We're back in 7 days with more hockey this week.
And just one game on tap last night in the OHL with the North Bay Battalion facing the Brampton Steelheads on home ice. The game was all tied up at 3 and went into overtime. That was until right winger Shamar Moses scored the game-winning goal in the last 4 minutes of OT. The Brampton Steelheads continue their road trip across the north tonight in Sault Ste. Marie against the Greyhounds at 7:07 at GFL Memorial Gardens. And it's Teddy Bear Toss night at the Sudbury Community Arena, where the Sudbury Wolves play host to the Owen Sound Attack at 7:05. In the NOJHL last night, the Kirkland Lake Gold Miners pushed the top-ranked Sudbury Cubs to overtime, but the Cubs' Mason Walker nets the OT winner. Kirkland Lake heads to Iroquois Falls tonight, hoping to weather the storm. Game time is 7:30. Also on deck, the Sioux Thunderbirds are in Espanola to face off against the Paper Kings, while the Blind River Beavers are in Timmins to take on the Rock. Both those games are 7:30 starts. The Sioux Eagles land in Hearst to play the Lumberjacks, and the French River Rapids host the Powassan Voodoos. Both those games start at 7 p.m. The 8th annual Pure Country Diaper Drive wrapped up today. CTV's Madison Merrier has the results.
After a chilly week of collecting diapers in the Pure Country Drive, volunteers and organizers are still spreading cheer.
It's become a staple in our community for our listeners, for Sudbury, and most importantly for the Pregnancy Care Center of Sudbury. They are the ones who do the incredible work for the families who just need a little bit of extra help. That's why we do this. That's why we rally the community. And that's why this campaign is so important and significant for Sudbury.
This year, Pure Country challenged the community to raise 1,000 cases.
I absolutely think that we can surpass our goal this year. We've been aiming for 1,000 cases of diapers, but we've been accepting wipes, monetary donations as well. And I mean, Sudbury always shows up when we put the challenge out there. I think this year is going to be no different.
And this year, the donation drive brought in just over 1,200 diaper cases.
We serve between 300 to 500 families each year at the Infant Food Bank. So every child that comes in under the age of 2 will get diapers. So that's quite a few children that need it. So it's extremely important to us.
Bonhomme said that these donations will last until June and make a major impact to the Pregnancy Care Center and Infant Food Bank. Madison Merrier, CTV News, Sudbury.
Spreading some Christmas cheer in Sault Ste. Marie when we return, an annual campaign to help those in need. You're watching First at 5. Our first community close-up comes to us from Sault Ste. Marie. Sam Ramsey sent us this photograph of a lit 60-foot blue spruce tree in the front yard. Sam hopes it brings a smile to anyone passing by. I'm smiley. Great job, Sam. To Sudbury, where Huntington University presented its annual festive donation to the Special Olympics Learn to Skate program. $2,500 will help children and youth have fun and build confidence. Still in Sudbury, Paulette Roy was visiting her mother and took this picture of a downy woodpecker. She says it stayed so long just looking around. Thanks, Paulette. And this fellow is keeping watch high in a tree. Mary Pakula snapped this photograph of a bald eagle. It was hanging out on Regent Street right across from Country Style Donuts. Thanks so much, Mary. And if you have any pictures, videos, or events you'd like us to showcase, you can email them to us at communitycloseup@bellmedia.ca. The final push is on for those at Christmas Cheer in Sault Ste. Marie. It's less than a week until families start picking up their packages to surprise the young ones on the 25th. Boxes are nearly all packed and awaiting drop-off at one of the many sub-depots across the city. Volunteers with Christmas Cheer are calling families to know where and when to pick up their parcels on the 17th. Organizers say this year's holiday campaign surprised them all. They were expectations that the need would be higher than usual, but the number of families registering for Christmas Cheer blew away expectations.
It is a humongous year. We are over 300 families more than we were last year. We're at 2,100 and 100, say, approximately right now. And so we knew that there was going to be a greater need. We weren't calculating on exactly that much, but we are fortunate that we do have the funds to cover that.
Marshall says this year will likely deplete the majority of Christmas Cheer's financial reserves. Organizers are still accepting donations until December 17th. And there's more news from the North coming up at 6 o'clock. For now, continue watching as we hand things over to CTV National News.